KaiserOst series, Season 2. And well, a few things we know right now. So World War VI just finished with a democratic victory. And then the Imperial League was destroyed. Followed by Pakistan trying to expand, Russia expanding to their former glory, China's building up a military, we know. Central India wants to reunite India and take back the land stolen by Pakistan. And well, Iraq wants to expand and take over some lands. And we know the Balkan League went to Balkan War and want lands back. But one thing that happens in today's video is a complete and utter shock. Is Germany transpires into a coup. Why is there a coup? Because the Kaiser went from exile, the Kaiser, whatever the Kaiser is, because like 30 years since Kaiser was last in charge. And well, the Kaiser manages to take Berlin, and once he does it with his forces, they declare Kaiser Germany again. And quickly after the formation, North Germany decides to join it. And well, it's restricted from rejoining. But what the enemies say is that do not try to annex with any more states and unify or else. And well, Iraq finally builds up the military with a front line with 1 million troops. Quickly, Turkey starts sending troops. So that's not going to work. And conscription is declared in Iraq. And Turkey doesn't know what's going to hit it. It's like, what's going on? And well, Iraq has declared war on the Turkish Republic to create their goal of a Mesopotamian state by taking over Syria, Kurdistan, and, well, northern Iraq and Syria, stuff like that. And quickly their forces move into the country of Turkey. Turkey is surprised by this, with advances going swift as they have about 2 million troops in the north after invading. And Turkey's only at about 500,000, and they're at 2 million. As Turkey quickly moves up the amount of forces it has, it makes a counter-offensive against Iraq. This counter-offensive is a complete success. Completely kicking Iraqi troops back into Iraq. And then they launch 2 spearheads to the coast. And they're both, that one came that way, and they managed to encircle Baghdad as they start moving to the south. But the troops, the 1 million that are still standing and conscripted recently, are managing to push back. With Iraq right now only being around 2 million troops, as they lost a lot of troops in this offensive and had a lot of desertion. But once they kick the Turks away from their capital, the government is frowned heroes. Not frowned upon anymore. Declared heroes. And then the northern section falls over to Turkey. But Turkey doesn't know what's coming for it. They're getting pushed back slowly. Not as fast as they were, because they're at about 3 million troops. Probably the Iraqis at 2.75 million. But the Iraqis start building up their military with conscription and sending more troops. They manage to get to about 3 million troops. And they launch 1.5 million into the Levant area that it wants to annex. Into the territories it wants to annex. It wants a war with Turkey. No, not Turkey. Iran and Saudi Arabia too. And quickly the front line looks like this. With Turkey launching a counter-offensive to keep them out of this area of the world. But it's too late as they meet up with the Democratic League in the south, which means they cut aid off for most of it into Turkey. And Bulgaria and its allies in the Balkan Pact, minus Hungary, because what's the point of Hungary joining, and minus Albania, decide to go ahead with an offensive with military and economic support being gave by the Balkan League. And Turkey only has like 250,000 troops in the north, while they send 1 million. Bulgaria sends in 500,000. probably 600,000. Greece sends in 400,000. They quickly manage to capture Istanbul along with Greek landings into Turkey. And well, they start moving troops from this front with Iraq. They have lost the support of their populace. With a civil war, not really a civil war, with a revolt as Turkish people demand anew, with a revolution breaking out in Turkey, with a lot of troops deserting to their side. And they then manage to take the capital, Ankara, and they dispose of the government. As they move up in the north and over in this area, quickly they do this. And as they were doing this, Greece managed to take significant land, and so has Iraq in the region they also want to take. They're trying to get in quick now because this revolt is not good for taking over the country. And then the rebels take over, and well, they think they can probably hold them back as they try to get a military raid to make an effort against them. But with it failing, the Turkish imperial forces take over. And the Turkish imperial forces want to take, or neo-Ottomanists, want to take back the Ottoman Empire. Anti-democratic, meaning they want to get rid of any democracy completely. But they're not, say, nationalist. They're more so, they just want to take everything over. So if they were nationalist, nationalism and taking over the world doesn't help each other because nationalism means one group's above, according to the country, which isn't good for an empire to have one group put as, yes, there will be a group that'll definitely get the best of it, which will be the main parts of Turkey, mainland Turkey, and, well, the Turks, but it's not really nationalist per se. So let's see next in Lebanese lands being annexed by Iraq as Iraq proclaims the Mesopotamian Empire. Bulgaria takes all of Thrace and Istanbul and a bit more. Greece takes the coast. They didn't get Istanbul because they didn't contribute the most, which might lead to a bit of contention between the groups. But in the north, Russia gives a vote. Belarus holds a vote whether they should join Russia or not. And to the surprise of everybody, they vote in favor of joining Russia. Russia has just got won over the West. Russia's not imperialist, it's still democracy, really. But its leader that's currently in charge believes in taking back their lands. They're rightfully theirs. But he also keeps democratic powers pretty stable, as he let the people vote on if they should invade the North Caucasian Republic, and they all agreed on it, as he quickly kicks them out. His goal in this was to get to be able to build a warm water port. Although global warming probably happened in this area, and, well, they don't need a warm water port. But that's besides the fact. Realistically, with the Saka Republic declaring its will to join up with Russia. Not Russia, but Siberia. As Russia is becoming two nations, realistically, well, you can tell there's going to be some kind of major change. With India declaring its will, Central India, to unite all of India, decides to invade East India. Why East India, you may ask? Because they're trying to take back their land, and East India is the weakest. The South India has a good economy, but North India has a good population, comparatively. Probably less than in our timeline, because what's going on in this series? War, then more war, then even more war, then war again, then war, then more war. And as they declared victory, China decides to start a little alliance. As it's trying to spread its influence, it starts the Asian Democratic League, which gains the will of the Vietnam Republic, North India, Yeah. And as well as Japan. And you may be wondering, why would they start an alliance? With North India wanting protection from Pakistan. But Iraq, after building up some arms, decides to go after its next target, which becomes Saudi Arabia, with the goal of taking parts of the coast and making its border a bit better. They quickly start moving down the coast and in across, and make encirclement with well over 1 million troops. And Saudi Arabia was surprised by this attack. Quickly they managed to take Riyadh and move across the desert to take Jeddah. And then they move in, taking Qatar, Doha. Then they move and take other cities. And after this, Saudi Arabia agrees to come to a peace treaty. So let's see the peace treaty. Mesopotamia. The Empire of Mesopotamia annexes northern parts of Saudi Arabia. But at this point, the Democratic Republic and Ethiopia vote to join East Africa, forming the Central African Union, which not many people are the biggest fan of, but it happens. With the Czechs declaring their will to join the Democratic League. Well, at this point, you can see the world is starting to go. A lot of nations such as Russia, Central India, Iraq, and, well, Germany are going against the will of democracy. So Germany turning imperial and an empire and a kingdom. The KaiserOst Germany is back. Yeah, the Kaiser's back. Kaiser Germany is back. We got imperial Russia. The democracies of the world don't like this. We got Central India doing what they're not allowed to do by the treaty. We got Iraq. Pakistan's also doing against the treaty things. And East Africa. They're all breaking the treaties. But with India then deciding to join Mexico joined the Democratic League along with Yucatan and South Brazil. And Basque. And then, well, not really much. And then a crisis happens. And what is this crisis, you may ask? Well, a civil war has broken out, with pro-Hungarian forces in the south, which quickly managed to capture the capital of Slovakia. They have a massive goal. Their goal is to take over the nation and join Hungary. With Hungary's support, they managed to do just that. With, well, the nation falling over to them. And with that, Hungary is back to its former glory. Or so Hungary says. They probably still want to expand. But honestly, for now, that's pretty good for them. With Romania, due to them not being any more target for lands by the Balkan League requests them to join. They say no. And we got Turkey, which is imperial, probably not liked by the democracy world, which is basically the whole world at this point. There's 2 democracy alliances. And that's pretty much all for today's video. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Wild Mapper out. And until you subscribe, will a new alliance form to challenge the world order? Will the world order topple? Or will it stay together? And that's all for today's video. Bye, guys!